Test 1, 2. And welcome to Mountlake Terrace High School, where today a Wesco 3A conference matchup between the home team and the Mountlake Terrace Hawks versus the Arlington Eagles. This is a crossover division game here, North versus South. These games do count in the standings. Mountlake Terrace coming into this game with a division record, or a conference record, of 6 wins and 3 losses. They are 8-3 overall. The Arlington Eagles, 6 wins and 4 losses in conference play, 6-7 overall. Arlington right now in 3rd place in their division behind Everett and Marysville-Pilchuck. Mountlake Terrace right now, well, technically they're in 4th place, but they are very close to 2nd place with a couple of fewer games played. And we'll talk about that division as the broadcast goes on and what that means. Hawks with a chance to win 2 games this week if they can win today and tomorrow. Could be tied for 2nd by the end of the week. Going into the weekend, we will see. Again, my name is Steve Willits, and joining me today, a friend of mine doing a game with us for the first time ever. I try to give you the proper introduction. This gentleman here works for KJR Radio, Sports Radio 950, and that's where we've met. I occasionally call in on Friday nights during football and basketball season. Not occasionally, I guess every Friday night, to report games in the area. And this is the gentleman who takes my phone call when I do. He works also for the Final Score TV, Steve Dion. Steve, your first softball game. Welcome.
First baseball game. How are you doing, Steve?
Doing great. Glad to have you here today. Are you excited for this or what?
Absolutely. I've been looking forward to this ever since I got the text message yesterday.
And I'll save this one for a little bit into the broadcast, but we do have a fun story to tell about 8 days ago when I tried to get you to do a baseball game at the last minute. I'm not going to give the spoiler away, but an interesting storyline indeed as to why you couldn't do the game and where you were at the moment that I texted you. But again, we'll hold that and use that as a tease, if you will, as we are ready to play here. Again, Arlington kind of entrenched in that 3rd spot in Wesco 3A North. They're a few games behind Everett and Marysville-Pilchuck. They've got a nice cushion over Oak Harbor, so presumably they're probably going to finish in 3rd in that division, which will be good enough to qualify them for the district tournament, which starts on May 17th, and we'll tell you what that means here momentarily and who that means they might be playing. This could be a preview of that first round game. Stepping up to the plate, first batter of the game, Shine McKay. McKay fouls that one off. 1-1 count. This is an Arlington team that won the state championship back in 2013. They had Ronnie Ladinas at the time, a standout pitcher who we weren't. Angelo Como was asking if we were at that tournament. Arlington at the time was a 4A school. We covered the 3A tournament that year. McKay pops that one up over to first. Coming over from her second base position is Gabby Calhoun, puts it away, 1 down. Arlington had a pitcher by the name of Ronnie Ladinas that year. Ronnie, who's now over at Kent State, playing fantastic ball there as a pitcher. She pitched every game during the state tournament. They outscored their opponents on the way to that state championship 24-1.
Wow.
I think she hit a couple home runs during that tournament too. She was phenomenal, and they haven't quite had the same success since. They're trying to get back to state for the first time since then. Oh, by the way, Mountlake Terrace hasn't been to the state tournament since 2013 either, so perhaps one of these teams this year.
On that last pop fly there, had the beneficiary of not having the sun in the eyes. The little bit of cloud coverage we have tonight was covering the sun for momentarily, and was able to get the out there.
Sun, and we're also dealing with wind right now, which could make things interesting. I stick my thumb in the air and do my weather check here, and it appears as though the wind is blowing in from the field, so home runs might be hard to come by today, but we'll see as Kendall Fields comes up for her first at bat.
Well, and it had to kick up right as our broadcast is starting to blow our papers around.
It seems like that's the luck we've had this year. I mean, I know this is your first game with us, but every time we come out to the softball field, we start setting up. It's fairly calm, it's cool, and then all of a sudden, right about 4 o'clock, boom, here comes the wind, and it seems to be no different today. These two teams played each other last year in a game in which Arlington won 10-0. Kendall Fields went 2 for 4 in that game. Looking for a hit in this game as well. Fouled off. Kira Doan on the mound today. One of 3 pitchers the Hawks have used this year. It's either been Kira Doan, Sammy Ruiz, or Gabby Calhoun. Jazz Zank, who's playing in catcher as she's been doing all season long, also able to pitch, but they've decided they really need her more behind the plate this year. 2-2 count as she fouls that one off as well.
The lone matchup between these north-south foes this season potentially could meet in the playoffs if they so meet each other at some point. But
yeah, and a good point as we look at another ball there. 3-2 is the count. Again, Arlington more than likely is going to finish in third in that division, the North Division, barring some sort of unforeseen event. A little too far behind to catch Everett or Marysville Pilchuck, and they've got a nice cushion over Oak Harbor, and quite frankly, to be honest, they've got a lot more talent than Oak Harbor as Fields heads on down to first base, which means they will play the second place team in the South once the season is over. And we kind of teased this one a little bit, but let's actually mention this now. So Meadowdale is 9-0, 11-0 overall. They are more than likely going to win the division outright. Should mention, by the way, they're playing Everett as we speak right now, a rematch between last year's district championship game, a game that Everett won big. Strike called on the pitch. Edmonds Woodaway right now 8-3, Glacier Peak 6-2, Mountlake Terrace 6-3. So a little discrepancy in terms of how many games those teams have played. Those teams in head-to-head games against one another right now are all 1-1. They've each beaten one of those other 2 teams, and they've each lost one of those other 2 teams. That ball is popped up over towards short. Fading over is Sammy Ruiz. She makes the catch. Chandler Bishop is out. And Mountlake Terrace plays Marysville Getchell up in Marysville tomorrow, a team that is 0-8 in conference play. So hate to assume, but I think that Terrace probably wins that game. If they win today, they will be tied with Edmonds Woodaway, who's off the rest of the week. Glacier Peak right now also has a very interesting game. They're playing Marysville Pilchuck today, who is currently actually in first place, I guess, in terms of percentage points in the North Division. So Glacier Peak could get a loss today. That could jumble things up substantially between second, third, and fourth to make things very interesting.
We could be sitting here tomorrow night, and Terrace could be sitting right there in the third place spot, and Peak will be sitting in 4, do a little flip-flop there.
Definitely. That ball's lined into center field, base hit. That was Alyssa Crane batting in the cleanup spot. She gets a single, pushes Fields over to second base. So 2 on, 2 away. That will bring up Paige Dickinson. She is the first baseman.
To just kind of put in perspective how dominant Meadowdale's been this year, they've scored double digits in every game. The most runs they've allowed is 4, and the closest margin is 8 runs, a 10-2 game against Edmonds Woodaway.
Yeah, they're ridiculous right now. I think they outscored their opponents last week alone 27-1, and they look very good. We've had a few of those players as guests on our This Week in High School sports show that we do. Phenomenal team, a handful of players who are more than likely going to play Division I or Division II at the next level. And they've got multiple pitchers. They've got a batting lineup that is just brutal from top to bottom. And I'll tell you what, if not for the fact that we were doing this game today, I would be over there checking out that game right now. Meadowdale and Everett, teams that finished in second and third respectively in the state last year, and neither team lost very many players. 2 top-notch programs. I have a feeling Meadowdale's streak of 10 or more and then holding their opponents under 4, or the streak you said with 8 games, or I guess 8 run differential.
Right.
I think that might end today.
Come to an end today, yeah.
But hey, if they continue that and if they can beat up on Everett today,
and that's a real eye-opener if they can do that to Everett.
They become the favorites immediately, I think, to win state if that's the case.
Definitely a loaded conference up here in the Westco.
Swung on and missed, strike 3. That ends the first half of the first inning anyway. Arlington leaves 2 on. Nobody scores. We head to the bottom of the first. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. No score as we head to the bottom of the first inning. Mountlake Terrace, Arlington, Steve Willits along with Steve Dion. By the way, Steve, I don't know if you noticed it. You know how we always have these, it's like National Secretary's Day and National...
There's always a day.
There's a day of some sort.
Right.
You know it's National High Five Day today?
I thought it was Earth Day today, but we'll do a high five.
Is it Earth Day also? Okay,
Yeah.
we won't. Well, we're taking care of the Earth here. We're not putting anything that's... It's natural what? It's National Poem in Your Pocket
Well,
Day.
everybody knows that.
Angelo Commode just pulled out a poem. Apparently he did. I had no idea. I don't have a poem, but I did give you a high five, so it's all good.
We covered our bases.
As well as we're going to. Gabby Calhoun up at the plate. Calhoun playing second base today, leading off for the Hawks. Gabby the junior having herself a nice year so far, both at the plate and pitching, and she fouls that one
into
the trees splash down over there. Well, that might have missed the water, but
it took a fortuitous bounce, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's always an interesting little moment there when those balls fly out there. And they do track down most of those balls either during the game or after the game. Sometimes they'll send somebody to climb the fences later. Those things are $6 a pop. You got to keep as many as you can. Calhoun slices that one towards right field. Peyton Brown makes the catch. Brown's a name that, Steve, you might recognize as a guy who covers basketball. Of course, this is Arlington school that played in the state championship game this year against
absolutely.
Bellevue. Peyton played a pretty vital role on that team. Her dad, Nick, is the head basketball coach at Arlington for the boys.
They had a great run for sure. They just ran into a juggernaut in Bellevue this year.
Indeed they did, and I'm completely flaking on this one right now. The semifinal game, and I don't for the life of me remember who they played, and I should. Peyton, I think, had 13 points in the first quarter. She started hitting threes left and right. And
I want to say it was Moses Lake or Kamiakin, one of those Eastern
Moses
Washington
Lake
schools.
was playing on the 4A side of things.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they had to face Central Valley, the eventual 4A champion, in the first round. That drew a lot of criticism, if I remember right.
It did. It was an overtime game. I sat and watched that game. It was fantastic. Yeah, fortunately for Moses Lake, they didn't have to play the 3A schools this year because that's where all the tough teams were at, we'd like to think anyway.
I think we entered the state tournament with 6 undefeated 3A teams. It was quite a bracket.
It was a fun year to cover high school basketball, and Arlington was certainly a huge part of that. And Coach Joe Marsh and his group of young ladies having themselves a fantastic year. Enjoyed covering that all season. As Kira Doan is at the plate now. Ball 3-1. Kira pitching today, trying to help her own cause. See you reviewing the stats. Those are the 2015 stats, by the way, to make sure we got them right. We have 2015 and 2016 stats, so we might try to throw those at you a little bit as we go along. As Doan takes ball 4, and she heads on down to first base. That will bring up the catcher, Jazz Zank. Jazz, who herself has a few home runs already this year. Love to pick up another one right here. Again, the wind being what it is right now, kind of swirling more or less. That'd be the easiest time to hit one, but strange things happen when we broadcast games.
Yeah, you know, if she gets a hold of one, maybe she'll catch it at a time where it's just blowing outfield, and maybe it'll give it a carry, and 10 seconds later it'll bring it right to second base. You just never know.
And she's definitely capable. She has 3 this year so far. Kind of unusual. She has 3 halfway through the season, and she's 3rd on the team, as Julia Brocksmith has 4. And then Sammy Ruiz has 5, 3 of which came in one game, a game that we broadcasted right here at this field. She mentioned Julia Brocksmith out sick today, the freshman, so she is not here in attendance. Julia had 2 home runs the other day against Oak Harbor. 2-1 count to Zink. Chandler Bishop, the pitcher. Zink lines that one into left field, right over the head of the left fielder, all the way to the fence. Doan rounding third. She's going to head in towards home plate, scoring easily. The ball gets away on the throw-in. Zink's going to take third, give her a RBI double as well as another base on the air. Hawks with the early 1-0 lead.
Yeah, it looks like Klein misread it off the jump of the bat. Took a few steps in, and it was over her head, so she had to go retrieve it off the fence there.
A little conference between the 3 outfielders for Arlington right now, as well as the infield. Chandler Bishop is the pitcher. Really the only pitcher Arlington has this year on their squad. Mentioned it earlier, Arlington with a 6-4 record. Right now they trail Everett, who's 8-2. Marysville-Pilchuck is 6-1. So, again, that's a pretty, I wouldn't say it's insurmountable, but it's pretty darn close. I don't think they're going to catch either of those 2 teams.
Yeah.
Oak Harbor at 2-6 is the next team behind them. We got senior Ashley Fitzgerald at the plate. Ashley takes the first pitch low and away, ball 1.
If Terrace can get to Bishop here early, they can really put him in a bind to where, you know, they're going to have to make her work through some tough innings.
And certainly with another run 60 feet away right now with only 1 out, Fitzgerald fouls that one away. 1-1 count. Of course, if you look at the scoreboard, it's 7-0 in the 7th inning. They still haven't fixed that thing yet. It's been a little haywire all season long. Fortunately for us, we keep score here at the table. Bishop winds. Fitzgerald hits that one into left field. Klein makes the catch. Zenk tags up. Coming into the home plate easily for the score. Makes it a 2-0 game here for the Hawks here in the first inning.
Certainly willing to trade an out for a run at this stage of the game.
Ashley Fitzgerald doing her job. You want to hit that ball into an area where you can either get Zenk to score on the ground or in the air, and that's exactly what she did. Put it out to left field. That will bring up the aforementioned Sammy Ruiz. Talked about earlier, Ruiz, the game we did earlier this year against Kamiak. 3 home runs in the game. Also had a double and pitched a perfect inning, or a strike, struck out the side inning in the 6th inning of that game. She had herself a nice afternoon, and consequently, she ended up winning the WIAA Athlete of the Week because of that performance. Well, I shouldn't say because of that performance. She had another game also that week where she had a multiple hit game and was awarded the Athlete of the Week for the entire state of Washington. Takes that first pitch for a strike.
Ruiz here took the loss on Tuesday against Everett, but, you know, in reality, she had a pretty good game. She went 6 innings against the tough Seagulls team, 4 earned runs on only 4 hits. You know, the real backbreaker was that 3-run home run in the 6th inning.
Yeah, and that's an Everett team that doesn't lose very often. Sydney Taggart, their pitcher, phenomenal pitcher, threw the complete game shutout. And really, you almost have to pitch a
perfect game
or an error-free game to get them. And we certainly can't fault Sammy for getting the loss in that game, but she's had a otherwise stellar season so far.
Absolutely. One of a kind of a 3 starting rotation here for the Hawks.
And this is a Hawks team that tends to like to pitch two pitchers a game quite often as well. As Ruiz hits that one into left center field and deep. It's going to go all the way. Goes over the fence. A home run. Sammy Ruiz doing what she does when we broadcast. Hits one over the fence. It makes it a 3-0 ball game. Steve, as I'm sure you just kind of noticed here, we almost lose our depth perception here sometimes. And I often can't tell if the ball's going over the fence or hitting the fence. And normally I have to look at the outfielder and watch them kind of slow down and stop giving chase to it to know that it did in fact clear, and that's what happened. Home run makes it a 3-0 game.
Yeah, that struck well. Frozen rope. Didn't have much clearance on the fence there, but it was struck nicely. Glad I brought my glasses here because I was able to see it right off the bat and watch it carry over the fence.
Sammy Ruiz, 4 home runs in our broadcast this year, 6 overall. Makes it a 3-0 game, and that's going to bring up number 3, Lauren Miller. Miller takes that first pitch strike. Miller, a senior, playing in center field today.
Terrace getting off to a nice hot start in the bottom of the 1st inning here, really setting the tone.
It's kind of been their MO this year, too. They've had a few games now where they've gotten off to starts in which they've scored 3 or more runs in the first. It's carried them to victories on more than one occasion.
Well, it does so much for your confidence throughout the game. When you kind of get that early lead, it can kind of get you take the nerves out and get you going.
Miller swings and misses at strike 3. Catcher dropped it briefly, however, picks it up and throws it to first base. or they get Lauren out. However, the Hawks get 3 runs here in the bottom of the first inning. We head to the top of the second. Mountlake Terrace 3, Arlington 0. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Steve Willits along with Steve Dion. We head to the top of the second inning. Arlington giving up 3 runs there in the bottom of the first. They need to get something going. And they're going to try to ask Peyton Brown, the right fielder, to get things started here. Brown, the sophomore right fielder, laces that one over to short. Ruiz picks it up, fires it across to Fitzgerald, gets the out. Nice job by Ruiz and Fitzgerald on the play. 6-3, 1 away. It's going to bring up Isabel Kim.
Ruiz did a real nice job of getting that scoop across her body and firing it down to first base just in time.
Yeah, that is not an easy play to make. You've got a 60-foot diamond between bases, and you need to fire that ball over quickly, and your first baseman needs to do a nice job too in order to get those ground outs. Ball's popped up over to second base. Gabby Calhoun camps underneath it. Easy catch for her. 2 away. It's going to bring up Alex Orozco.
Calhoun could have been standing in quicksand on that one and still would have made the catch.
Much more comfortable that she wasn't standing in quicksand, but
right.
You're absolutely right. She didn't have to move much on that play. Sometimes those as fielders are a little bit tougher almost. You
overthink it a little bit too much. You got so much time standing under there.
You do. You have to kind of sit there and give it a little more thought than you normally would, as opposed to right, left, forward, backwards. Almost more stressful in some ways. Orozco getting her first at bat of the day. Standing in their 1-1 count. Should mention our home plate umpire today, Dean Erling. Donnie Johnson is our field umpire. Swings and misses, 1-2 count.
Doan threw a lot of pitches in that first inning, but she's got 2 outs very quickly here in the top of the second. Looking to get the final strike here.
Yeah, Kim swinging on the first pitch, and there's strike 3. She gets her second strikeout of the game. We head to the bottom of the second, 3-0 Mountlake Terrace. We're going to have a little fun story time with you when we come back in the second. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Maya Kopp will lead off the bottom of the second inning for the Hawks. Mountlake Terrace with the 3-0 lead right now. And Steve, we were just we teased it earlier during the first inning, and I mentioned it right before we went to the break as Kopp awaits the first pitch from Bishop. Ball 1-0. 8 days ago, I'm sure you remember where you were, correct?
I sure do.
8 days ago, we broadcasted a baseball game. It was Mountlake Terrace versus Shorewood. 4 o'clock start. Next pitch, strike called, 1-1. And I kind of waited too long to ask you. I was trying to get Vince DeMiro over here, the teacher from Mountlake Terrace who joins us usually for these games. Called Vince, and Vince has been coaching a baseball team this year, so he's kind of hit or miss as to whether or not he's available to do these games. Or a few times this year he's broadcasted half of a game. Asked Vince if he could make the game about 2 o'clock, 2 hours before the game, and he was unable to make it. So I texted you, because I know you and I had talked before about doing a game.
Right.
Texted you saying, hey, I know this is late notice. I apologize, but are you able to do the broadcast with me today up at Mountlake Terrace? As we await the next pitch. In the dirt, ball 2-2 to Kopp. So I send you the text. Wait a couple minutes, haven't heard from you, and then all of a sudden it dawns on me. I know you work primarily with the morning shows at KGR, right?
Yep, with Mitch in the Morning.
Mitch in the Morning, you're one of the directors there, or the producer, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And it occurs to me that you're probably off work already. It's 2 o'clock as Kopp hits that one over to second base. Orozco fields it, fires it over to Dickinson, one away. That will bring up Alyssa Susi, one away here in the second inning. So I'm thinking to myself, it's a day baseball game over at Safeco Field. You might be at the game today. I can see you're working in the sports department.
It's conceivable.
It's conceivable. You guys get tickets from time to time. Very conceivable as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, you're probably not able to join us because you might be at Safeco. So I think to myself, I should go to my Facebook on my phone and check it real quick. So I pull up my Facebook app, thinking I'm going to type your name in because you and I are Facebook friends, and I'm going to pull up your homepage to see what you're up to. Turned out you had posted about a minute earlier, so you were the very first thing I see on my Facebook app.
Top of the timeline.
Top of the timeline, number one. You're holding a baseball in your hand, and I have it pulled up right here, so I'm going to read exactly what this says after this next pitch. 2-0 count. Susi awaits the Bishop delivery. Fouls that one off, 2-1. This is what this reads here, and I wasn't watching the game at the time, so I had no idea what was going on over at Safeco Field. Steve Dion, it says, guess who just got that Cano home run ball? So Robinson Cano had just hit a home run. Not only were you in attendance and watching the game, you came up with the home run ball.
Yeah, first home run ball.
Well, yeah, most people don't get more than one over a lifetime, I wouldn't think. She swings and misses at that one.
There was only one possible thing that could have made this better is if I would have caught it on the fly. I was in the back row of the concourse in right field, landed in the seats.
And Susi pops that one into foul territory. Dickinson comes over from first base, makes the catch, 2 away. That will bring up Kennedy Cooper.
The ball lodged itself in the back row of that first level, and saw it hit, stood up and picked it up, and got a brand new baseball.
So you were already sitting in the back row.
I was sitting in the very back row.
And the ball ended up also in the back row.
Well, so at Safeco there is actually a row that's on the concourse, but it's not connected to the bleachers, the other one. So it's kind of got this little terrace in front of it. So I just had to kind of step down and pluck it off the real back row of the bleachers there.
Was there any kind of a struggle for it, a wrestling match?
There was one guy that was fairly close, but I kind of had a clear path to it.
Yeah, the funny the after part of that story is that I immediately walked over to the TV. I was working from home. I turned on the TV. They showed the replay of the Cano home run about 2 minutes later, and it's one of those where they can kind of splice things quickly.
Right.
They showed the home run, and then they immediately show you in the stands holding up the ball.
Yeah.
And at that point, I knew already you'd had it because I'd seen the Facebook picture, and I thought, well, I'll be darned.
Yep.
Steve Dion is not going to be broadcasting with us today because he's at Safeco holding up a Robinson Cano home run. Cooper hits that one into shallow left center field. Coming over to make the catch is Fields. It's a 1-2-3, bottom of the second for the Hawks. We head to the third inning of play, and I don't know how we're going to top that story, but we'll come up with something.
We'll see what we can do.
We go to the bottom or the top of the third. It's 3-0 Mountlake Terrace. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network, the Steve and Steve show today. Mr. Willits and Mr. Dion broadcasting from Mountlake Terrace High School, where the Hawks, the hometown team, feeling pretty good right now with a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, looking good so far.
Stepping up to the plate. And this is actually different than what I've got listed on my sheet here. It looks as though we've got number 13 up to the plate. I have Angelica Jagger, who I have it listed as wearing the number 2, but apparently she's wearing number 13. First pitch is a strike. Arlington still looking for their first run of the game.
These number changes are always a broadcaster's dream.
Yeah, we see this from time to time in high school. It seems like I see it more in the softball fields more than we do in other sports sometimes. But hey, she's number 2 in the program. She was number 2 on the scorebook. Number 13 now.
Keeps you on your toes.
Indeed it does. So we'll check with Phyllis Ng right now just to make sure we've got the right name in there. Kind of looking over her shoulder there real quick. Ball is in the dirt. Ball 2, 2-2. We'll get confirmation from Phyllis that this is Jagger. Yes, it is. Okay, we had a number 2 on our book, and she's wearing number 13, but that seems to be working. And you never know. Sometimes they forget jerseys at home. Sometimes
a player's hurt, and they'll wear it in their honor for the time being. I've seen that before in football.
Phyllis is the wife of head coach Dan Ng. So we figure if anybody's going to know the names, it's her, so she's helping us out a little bit.
Good thing she's right next to us, because we would be at wit's end trying to figure out the number situation right now.
Otherwise, we would just refer to her as number 13 the rest of the game. Zank drops strike 3, picks it up fairly quickly, and fires it over to Fitzgerald, getting the put out over at first base, 1 away. That takes us back up to the top of the order, where Shine McKay will come up for her second at bat. McKay popped up to second base back in the first inning.
Terrace engaging in their high five ritual after each out that they record in the infield.
It's National High Five Day.
Ah.
Well, I don't know. I think that's a ritual they would do regardless of the other 365 days of the year, but it sounds good.
Pretty fun.
We will not be doing that over here at the
no.
As much as Angela Como likes high fives, we're not going to do that with every out.
We had our one obligatory high five.
We did that earlier. Yeah, we're more of a fist bump group over here anyway. Bunt put down right in front of home plate. Doan fires it too late. Calhoun covering the base, giving an infield single to McKay. Only the second hit of the game for Arlington. We'll bring up Kendall Fields, who walked back in the first inning.
Calhoun did a good job getting over there, but the base runner just was able to get down there in time.
And you see that quite often in softball, especially with your leadoff hitter, presumably one of your faster players on the team, if not the fastest player. You can get that ball placed just right. It really puts pressure on the infielders, especially if it's a catcher or pitcher, to get it over there in time. And that's what we saw out of McKay on the play. Ball's hit over to Ruiz. It's short. Throws it over to second base. Calhoun with 1 out. Safe over at first base is Fields. Fielder's choice as McKay is put away.
Big cloud of dirt from that slide into second base.
Great slide and great put out by Calhoun.
Absolutely.
Give Ruiz a lot of credit too.
Get the lead runner there.
1 away, so McKay is retired. Fields is over on first. Or I should say 2 away. And we'll bring up the pitcher, Chandler Bishop. Bishop batting in that number 3 spot in the lineup. She popped out to short back in the first inning. Boy, Doan took something off of that ball.
Absolutely.
Gorgeous changeup of some sort there. To definitely mention, Kira had a pretty big week last week as well. Not necessarily on the softball field. We'll mention what she was up to, as well as a few other Mountlake Terrace students. Spent some time down in Los Angeles last week. You ever get a chance to spend time in Los Angeles?
I've been there a few times. Last time I was there, actually, I was on the Price is Right show. Didn't get called up on the stage, but I was in the studio audience, and it was a blast.
Wow, I was waiting for a big story there, which, I mean, hey, it's impressive enough you were there, but I thought you were going to be a
Didn't get to spin the wheel or play Plinko.
Didn't get a chance to talk to Drew Carey or anything like that?
I did during the commercial breaks. He saw I was wearing my Seattle Sounders jersey, which he's a part owner to, and he spotted me out in the crowd and had a few exchanges. So that was a fun time.
I'm guessing that wasn't accidental that you wore the Sounders jersey then, right?
It was very strategic.
Bishop lines that one into left field, right past third base. Everybody's going to move up 60 feet on that play. So Fields will move over to second. Bishop on with the single.
Brings the tying run to the plate.
Tying run, who's also your cleanup hitter. This is Elisa Crane coming up, and she had a single back in the first inning. So the Hawkeye is the school paper at Mountlake Terrace. The Mountlake Terrace Hawkeye, which I'm a proud alum, by the way.
It's got to be nice to call games for your alum school.
Alum school, and to see the alum paper that I used to work for way back before all these students were even born. And we're gonna get a guest on here momentarily. We'll wait till next inning at this point as Angela gets things prepared here a little bit as Crane comes up. We'll start to talk about this a little right now, and then if we get our third out, we'll wait till the bottom half of the inning as Crane looks at a ball. 2-0 is the count. The Hawkeye, which is an award-winning newspaper, a nationally award-winning newspaper, they took a bunch of students down for the Journalism Education Association and National Scholarship Press Association. That's a mouthful right there. National Convention, which was down in L.A. last week, as Crane looks at strike one, gives it a 2-1 count. Mountlake Terrace, amongst other things, they won the First Amendment Press Freedom Award for the third straight year.
Wow.
8th place in the NSBA Best of Show contest. They mainly got that award for their coverage of the 2016 presidential primaries. Ball 3-1. 8 of their staffers were recognized with awards down there in L.A. I'll mention 3 of them here in a moment. One we want to mention right off the bat, News Magazine Layout, the winner of that award, or a winner of that award, the winner from Mountlake Terrace anyway, as that ball's fouled off, strike 2. This is a national convention. Kira Doan, our pitcher right now, the young lady who's firing strikes out there on the mound, was down in L.A. winning a journalism award for the Newspaper Magazine Layout category. 2 other names I want to mention because of the work they do on our broadcast. One is Steffi Smith, who's not here today, but Steffi often works both controlling the board here as well as doing camera work and setting up. Ball 4s. Crane heads on down to first base, loading the bases up here in the third inning. He's going to push Fields over to third, Bishop to second. So 3 on, 2 out in a 3-0 ball game. It's going to bring the go-ahead run to the plate in Paige Dickinson. Paige struck out back in the first inning. But to get back to this, Steffi Smith, who also is the editor of the Hawkeye, she won the Social Media Reporting Award. She was also an honorable mention candidate winner. And then Sky Schenk, who, did I say your last name right? I'm looking over here. She gives me a nod. The Broadcast News Writing Award, she didn't earn an honorable mention. She earned an excellent in that award. And I guess now that we have a moment here, we'll wait till the I should be talking about this when we don't have 3 on and 2 out here. So we're going to put Sky on the broadcast here, maybe when the in between innings. How does that sound? So we'll have Sky wait here. We want to talk to her about the trip to LA. Ball gets away from Jazz. Zink catches it, safe at home plate. Nice play by Zink to get that ball right away. Doan's pitch floated over Zink, grabbed it off of a bounce, threw it over to Kira, who was trying to cover home plate. A little too late though. The run comes across. It's 3-1.
Took a fortuitous bounce off the backstop there, ran right into Zenk's hand. She was able to fire it into Doan there, but just not in time.
Everybody moves up on the play as Bishop heads over to third, Crane to second.
Terrace really understands the importance of this moment in the game. They had a little powwow on the mound prior to this at-bat.
Dickinson, there's another one over the head of Zink. She gets that one back in very quickly. Like the fact that they're remaining loose. Kira and Jazz exchanging smiles there as she throws the ball back in, and then Sammy Ruiz comes over to the mound also to loosen her up a little bit. So Kira, who's had 2 of those balls sail on her in a row, gets ready for the third pitch of the at-bat. This one much lower, however, still too high for a strike. 3-0 count. Peyton Brown on deck. You do have the open base right now over at first. Taking that all the way is Dickinson, strike one. Dickinson, one of the 7 seniors on this squad. Ball 4 over the head of Zink. He's able to retrieve it rather quickly to keep the runner over on third base. So Dickinson is going to walk on down, or trot on down to first base, if you will. Bishop on third, Crane on second, Dickinson on first. Peyton Brown, who grounded out to short back in the second inning, comes up for her second at bat of the day.
May not have been the worst thing to walk Dickinson there. You know, pitching to a senior, plays a corner infield position, and now pitching against a someone called up from JV. So we'll see if it's a fortuitous event there.
And Peyton swings and misses at strike 2, and you're absolutely right. It could in fact pay off very nicely for the Hawks if they're able to get Brown out. And the way that this inning has ended, if you could hold them to 1 run after having those pass balls with runners over on third base multiple times, I think the Hawks would take that at this point. Grounder over to Calhoun. Takes an interesting hop, but she's able to field it, gets it to Fitzgerald, and gets the out. Arlington leaves 3 on base. However, they do get on the board for the first time today. We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Mountlake Terrace 3, Arlington 1. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Alive Sports Network. Steve Willits, Steve Dion. Now we're going to invite Sky Schenk to join us for a few moments. Sky is one of our students here at Mountlake Terrace High School. And we just mentioned you at the top half of the inning. You spent some time down in LA this past week, and you won an award. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's been really cool just working with the broadcast network that's here. I honestly have no idea what I would have done without it, And now I know what I want to do in college. So.
Very cool. And so what year are you now?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior, so
yeah.
you still have some time to change your mind if you want. We don't recommend it. Steve Dion here works in the industry. He
having a great time doing it too.
There you go. So you can talk to him as much as you need to and get some help as we await the first pitch for Gabby Calhoun, the leadoff hitter for the Hawks, leading off for the second time tonight, I might add. She led off in the first and popped out to the outfield. This time she gets a base hit over the second baseman's head. She's going to end up over on first base, and that'll bring up Kira Doan. So talk to us a little bit about this award. You won for the broadcast news writing category. Now, is that something they sit you? Do you know what you're going to write about ahead of time? Do they give you a fictitious topic to write on? What are you?
No, the stories that they give us to write about are the latest stories that are available. And then we have to transform that into a 90-second plus or minus 3 seconds news script. And it's a lot more difficult than it sounds, actually. I did it in Denver and in Orlando and didn't come back home with anything, but jumped from nothing to excellent, and that was really awesome.
Very cool. We'll ask you about that here in just a second in between pitches. It is a 1-1 count to Kira Doan. Hits that one foul down the third base line, and Calhoun looked like she might have been thinking about running on the play. You mentioned you've done this before. How does this work for the 90 seconds? Do you have to read your own story that you write? Does somebody else read it for you?
Yeah, so basically what happens is you read the story that you've created after you're done drafting it all and everything, and you time it yourself, read it yourself. But that's the difficult part, is that everybody reads different at a different pace. So it's.
Well, and this is a good question. This is a nice segue for us to hop in and ask Mr. Dion here a question as Kira fouls off another one. Again, you're one of the producers on the Mitch in the Morning show on 950 KJR.
Right.
I know occasionally you do the reports going in and out of breaks, right?
I don't do the updates actually.
Do you never
we
do
don't
the updates?
we don't do updates in the morning show. We start doing the live updates at 10 a.m. So that's
Okay.
when we're off the air.
Why did I think I've heard you doing updates before? Have you never done them?
No.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I know you, but you do read, right? I mean, I've heard you
Yeah.
on the radio from time to time. Do you? So you can probably relate a little bit as Kira lines that one into right field. Nice job by Peyton Brown to get it back in right away. Everybody advances 60 feet. So Calhoun on second, Doan on first. So certainly, being in the radio business, you can appreciate what Sky had to go through, right? I mean,
Absolutely. I mean, when you're under the gun and you have a microphone in front of your face, it's a completely different ball game than when you're rehearsing in your bedroom.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's not even the bedroom. It's in the contest classroom, pretty much. The judge is watching you as you write, so you're under pressure.
It's a little bit tough. We got 2 on, nobody out here in the third inning. 3-1 Hawks lead. Jazz Zank up to the plate. Jazz had an RBI double back in the first inning of play. So now, are we talking about actually writing, as in here's a piece of paper and pen? Are you typing? Are you what are you?
No, we're full on handwritten pen
Old school.
Pen and paper, writing it down and turning it in. Yeah.
We await the next pitch. Inside corner, strike one. 1-1 is the count.
And these are prompts that are relevant news stories that you're
Yep.
writing about. Okay.
Yep.
So in your case, what was the story?
They give us 5 stories to choose from. You only have to use 3 of them. So the 3 that I used was the earthquake that was in Japan last week, and then the Los Angeles Rams, or the Titans trading the Los Angeles Rams their #1 pick.
You're talking our language now.
Yeah, we know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What are these earthquakes you're talking about?
And then the third one that I was talking about was students and their lack of sleep and how that can affect them socially, actually.
Oh.
So
You covered the whole gamut then.
Yeah.
yeah.
A little bit of everything. We wait the 2-1 pitch. In the dirt, 3-1. Everybody stand put as that ball momentarily gets away. Give a lot of credit to the catcher, McKay, on that play for keeping that one in front of her. So this happened on the last day of the conference, is that correct?
Yeah, the awards were handed out to the people on the last day, but we actually competed on the Friday before that.
So you turned it in, but you didn't know how well you did or didn't do based on the judges' opinions. It's
nope,
3-1
not
pitch.
until Sunday. It's a waiting game.
So was it one of those things where you did you have a feeling like, hey, I feel really good, I think I nailed this, or did you not know?
Everybody kept telling me that third time was the charm, and because I did the same contest the last 2 conventions, but I was just feeling down about it. I was like, man, I don't know.
Ball is hit into left field. It looks like it might drop. It does stay fair. Calhoun comes racing into home plate. She scores, and for the second time today, Zank has an RBI.
Play it third.
Doan out at third base as that ball came back in and briefly got away from the cutoff. Doan thought she could get the base. She gets thrown out. However, the run does come in to score. Also, Zank heading on down to second base. Give her a single and an RBI. Makes it a 4-1 game.
Terrace, the beneficiary of a few soft spots in the outfield in this inning here. Been able to bloop a few into the outfield, move the runners along.
It's called hitting them where they ain't, right?
Yep.
That's exactly what they did there.
Proper grammar right there.
Gotta give Kira credit too, though, because not only is she an amazing softball player, but quite the journalist as well. You know, this was her first convention, and she won an honorable mention in News Magazine layout.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, how it's
Yeah.
nice that she's out there and able to play softball and still go down with you and the rest of the group. And
Yeah.
not only that, but like you said, you know how hard it is to win those awards. It's
Yeah.
not that easy to go down there in your first year.
Yeah.
And all told, I think, 8 different awards were won by Mountlake Terrace
Yep.
riders for the Hawkeye?
Yep. Oh no, go ahead.
And so where did you finish in the plus or minus 3 seconds high or low on
I
that?
was minus 3 seconds.
Oh,
Actually.
wow,
Ooh.
on the low end.
Yeah.
Got through all your content in a hurry.
Yeah.
Stretch out 1 or 2 of those words just to
Yeah,
make sure you get
exactly.
that extra second in
The
there.
end.
Yeah.
Ball's in the dirt. Ashley Fitzgerald up one more time. Well, and so how many students went down total? Do we know, or about?
From the Hawkeye, there was 18 students, but from like the nation in general, there was 3,800 people there.
Wow.
Yeah.
I take it that was downtown somewhere in Los
Yep,
Angeles?
Downtown Los Angeles at the Westin Bonaventure Hotel.
Fitzgerald hits that one out to center. Easy put out for Fields as she throws the ball back in. Zank holding up at second base. 2 away, and that will bring up Sammy Ruiz, who homered in her last at bat and seems to hit home runs whenever we broadcast. So do not blink or close your eyes on this one. And you mentioned that you do you feel like some of what you've been doing with Mr. Como and the rest of the HBN squad and all the broadcast work you've been doing here, has helped you quite a bit?
Oh, definitely, because we have our daily show that happens every day, and we have our new information every day, and so have to update the scripts all the time. We don't really time them very often, but it does help with learning transitions and all the other standards that you have to have to get the award that they hand out.
So 1-0 count for Ruiz. And again, you mentioned it real briefly a few minutes ago, but I want to ask you a little bit more about what your thoughts are heading towards college. Inside ball 2-0. So again, you've got some time, but what is the ultimate goal right now? Have you given that some thought? Where do you want to go, or what do you aspire to do with this?
Yeah, I actually want to major in broadcast journalism at Washington State University. That's quite the journalism school for Washington State. So, and Vince DeMiro graduated from there. So
He did indeed. One of your teachers, or main teacher over at the Hawkeye there in journalism.
yeah.
Certainly, it's done well for him as well as a lot of other Mountlake Terrace graduates.
Mm-hmm.
Ball 4. Oh, they're going to call a high strike on that one. Ruiz was getting ready to throw the bat away.
Yep.
First base is open. So now, are you looking to work in front of the camera, behind the camera? What would you ultimately like to do?
I ultimately want to be a reporter, mostly for like investigation, because I
There's
don't know
ball 4.
about it. I love investigations and just being a reporter in general. I love journalism. I love telling people stories and stuff like that. So it's
Digging up all the details.
yeah,
Exactly. Steve, I've never really asked you. How did you get yours started? Are you did you?
Started with the high school show. Met Randy Novak, the executive producer of Varsity Football Live, through a friend, and started working on the show in a minor capacity, and it continued to go from there. And being at the station there was kind of a natural transition.
Ball gets away from McKay on the play, so Ruiz is going to go down to second base. So 2 runners now in scoring position. Zank on third, Ruiz on second. 2 outs here. Lauren Miller up at the plate. So in high school, did you do any reporting? Did you do anything either journalism-wise or newspapers, anything like that?
I was struggling to find something that I was really passionate about, and it just kind of came out of nowhere late in college, and intern at the athletic department of University of Washington, and it just kind of went from there.
So now that you're in mid-20s.
Yep.
Now that you get to work around folks like Sky, any kind of advice you can give them? I mean, obviously, Sky, the opportunities you have at the high school level, and I commend you for taking advantage of them. I'm always just amazed that more students. That's a strike there. I'm always amazed that more students aren't involved in these programs, because we never had these opportunities back when I went to school here. And Steve, I'm guessing you probably didn't have a lot of them either at your high school. Steve, from your standpoint, what could you tell Sky in terms of, now that you've been in the business and you've seen some things, what should students be doing? What should they be working on? And that's there we go. Throw over there. Go ahead.
It sounds like she's right on track. Getting experience, getting work experience, doing different competitions and stuff like that. Anything to enhance your resume.
That was the final out there. But the Hawks do get 1 run. We're going to keep it right here so we can continue this conversation going up into the top of the 4th. It is 4-1 Mountlake Terrace after 3. So Sky, certainly for you've got another year left in high school. What are your thoughts for your senior year? Are you looking to do internships? Are you going to be calling on some of these now that you won an award? You've got the excellent next to the award as well.
Yeah, definitely. I've actually I've been dreaming that because we met Jesse Jones at the Washington State Convention back in I think it was March. And so I was going to see if maybe I could email him about getting an internship at Cairo 7, but I'm shooting high, but, got to shoot high if you want to get anywhere. So
Definitely.
Doesn't hurt to ask, right? And
Yeah,
Jesse's
exactly.
certainly an investigative reporter, probably one of the most, if not the most well-known investigative reporter in the area. So if that's
Yeah.
what you're looking to do, it's not a bad contact to make, is it?
Yeah, no, definitely not a bad contact at all.
And as Steve just mentioned, a lot of it is about networking. So certainly, if you make those connections, especially at your age, that's a huge benefit right there for you.
Yeah.
Be willing to work for free, get experience any way you can. Something even as simple as a broadcast like this, and you never know who you can meet. And sometimes there's a need to fill in for a certain position, and next thing you know, you're doing it. So
It's good stuff. So hey, Sky, again, I thank you very much for all that you do with our broadcast. And
Yeah, of course.
yeah, when I saw your name, it brought a big smile to my face. I know you work awfully hard, and so very deserving of that award. And
Yeah.
certainly, you always have a positive attitude when you're working with us, and that's not always easy with Angelo and I. So I commend you for that. We say that jokingly, but no, you do a fantastic job. So congratulations on that award, and we will
thank
continue to. Hopefully, we're going to be working with you for another 15, 16 months. We still have another
of
year with you
course.
here at Mountlake
Yep.
Terrace, and can't wait to see what you go on to. And I can't say go Cougs. I'm sorry, I'm a Husky fan, but
That's okay.
but I'm happy that you're on track to get to where you need
I
to be.
knew I could count on you, Steve. Go Dogs.
I'm personally a Huskies fan too, but I love
The career's
journalism,
got to
and
take
Yeah.
some precedent
Washington
there.
State has quite the journalism
We'll
program. here, so-
we'll let that one slide then
Yeah.
for the sake of your schooling and what you need to do to get there. I completely respect that. So anyway, thank you again for coming on with us, and
of course.
we'll let you get back to what you're doing. But we're certainly going to be talking more about this as the year progresses, and keep getting you more and more involved in these broadcasts.
Yeah, of course.
Very cool.
All right, thank
So
you.
that is Sky Schenk, the junior, who again the broadcast news writing. The award is an excellent. They have different levels, and doesn't get much better than excellent.
That sounds pretty good to me.
She'll take it. 4-1. We head to the top of the fourth inning. Arlington back at the plate. This is number 1, Isabel Kim, who popped out to second base back in the second inning of play. You hear the bench over there for the Eagles cheering on Izzy. 1-2 count. Yeah, Steve, like I said, I'm just always baffled. I mean, I know how much fun we have here just kind of doing, myself having a chance to come back to my alma mater and doing these broadcasts. And I know you enjoy what you do as Izzy hits that one into center field,
Struck
base hit.
well.
You're going to hold her to a single. But just the fact that this opportunity is here for so many students, and to see somebody like Sky taking advantage of it, it's huge.
It's great to see. I mean, it just shows that, there are some people there that have drive and have a vision on what they want to do and are willing to put in the hours because, the people take notice. The current people that are doing this certain jobs, they're noticing the young crop, and they'll help you get to where you want to be. So it's great to see her doing that.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I was going to ask you because, again, you're working in radio. You work with KGR quite a bit, and certainly it can be seen, I would think, by some folks around there as, this person might be gunning for my job at this point, or as you try to climb the ladder there. But you do find that most people are pretty helpful in the
Yeah,
industry?
it's quite the contrary. Guys like Dick Fain and even, guys like yourself that are inviting me out to stuff like this, they definitely want to help them out when they see that they're putting in the work and helping them out do what they do. So, it's great to see that there's that give and take.
In an industry that can be cutthroat, it is nice to know that it's refreshing to know that there are people out there willing to work with you, and especially if you do a great job what you do. As Orozco's going to bunt that one over towards third. Miller picks it up, or Kopp rather picks it up, fires it across the diamond, gets the put out over on first. Kim on the play heading down to second base. So 1 away, 1 on. And that will bring up Angelica Jagger. I guess I should change this in my scorebook. I keep looking at the number 2 and getting confused. She is wearing the number 13. Fouls that first pitch off. So if you're just joining us, the score is 4-1 in the fourth inning. Mountlake Terrace getting 3 runs in the first, 1 in the third. Arlington getting their lone run in the top of the third inning. Kira Doan, who started the game, still on the mound. Hits that one over to Calhoun. She scoops it over to Fitzgerald for the out. On the play, Kim heading on down to third base.
Jagger really had to slow her swing down on that pitch, on that changeup. She was halfway through the zone and saw that it was a changeup and had to kind of leave the bat head out there for a little while and carve it towards second base there.
Yeah, interesting hit. It was almost a cross between a bunt and a full swing,
Yeah,
right? It was kind of like,
a swinging bunt.
no, if I swing away at this thing, I'm going to swing way too early. Better pull up, and unfortunately for her, made just enough contact to hit it right over to Gabby and flips that one over to Fitzgerald for the out. Back to the top of the lineup, Shine McKay. She's He's 1 for 2 on the day. Popped out to second base in the first. Got a single in the third inning. Strike called, 1-1. At some point here, I might even try to check Twitter a little bit to see if we can get an Everett Meadowdale score. Softball games aren't always easy to come by, but perhaps we can find one. As we mentioned earlier, the two first-place teams playing each other today. The ball's hit right over to Ruiz. Gets it on a hop. Hits it over to Fitzgerald. Gets the out. Arlington leaves one stranded. They do not score in the top of the fourth. We head to the bottom half of the inning. Mountlake Terrace 4, Arlington 1. You're watching the Sound Live Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. Bottom of the fourth inning taking place right now. We got a guest that just kind of walked over. We're just going to throw him on the air here. His first batter in the bottom of the fourth was, well, let's see, who was that? We got engaged in a conversation. It was Maya Kopp. She grounds out. One away that will bring up Alyssa Susi. Donnie Selgren just walked by from Arlington High School. First of all, I'm not used to seeing other athletes usually at softball games from 30 miles away, so got to ask you right off the bat, what brings you out here?
Girlfriend's playing, so I had to come support her.
Which one's the girlfriend?
Paige Dickinson.
Paige Dickinson. 3. Oh, there you go. Okay, so you're out here supporting her, and getting a chance to catch up with you a little bit. Great football player and basketball player at Arlington.
Yeah, thank you.
And you just mentioned to me as we were coming back on the air, so I didn't get a chance to ask you much about it. I know you were. Now, where were you committed to playing football? You were somewhere in Nebraska. Right?
Shattern State in Nebraska, yeah.
And you mentioned that today things changed a little bit?
Yeah, I got released today. I'm going to stay local and find a home to play basketball somewhere. We're
going to see your girlfriend playing right now as Dickinson makes the catch over there. That was Kim firing the ball across the diamond for 2 outs. The batter on the play was Susie, so she is now out. That's going to bring up Kennedy Cooper. So you're going to stay a little closer than Nebraska, huh?
Yeah, well, I'm close with my family, so it's just not the right spot for me right now.
Now, what are the other options for you now? You mentioned Western a little bit. Have you talked to anybody else?
Yeah, I've talked to Whatcom a little bit, Edmonds, and then I'm going to go down to a few Bellevue Open gyms. So just get my name out there, let people know I'm out looking for basketball right now.
Okay, so football completely out of the question? Would you consider that again later on down the road, or?
Football I think is out of the question. It's gonna stay basketball.
Yeah, it's a little bit safer that way. You don't have to worry about those.
Less wear and tear on the body.
Exactly, keep the body a little healthy.
Those big safeties that you get when you go across the middle there at the college level. A little different than when you're playing Oak Harbor or Well, I guess Oak Harbor had some big
Oak Harbor has some big safeties.
guys out there too. So a heck of a year for you, by the way. Not only on the basketball, but on the football field. Let's ask about your football season right off the bat here. I have this number ingrained in my head, so this is almost pathetic that I'm able to pull this off as quickly as I am. But doing the podcast for the Everett Herald and some other things, we're going to keep it right here as Cooper strikes out. So it's a 1-2-3 fourth inning. The Hawks up 4-1 as we head to the fifth inning. Let me see if I've got this right. You correct me if I'm wrong here. It was against Snohomish.
Yep, first game of the season for me.
First game of the season. Steve, let's see if you like these numbers here. I think it was 18 catches.
Yep.
275 yards.
Yeah.
And 4 touchdowns.
Yes.
Oh, so those
That's in a game.
Are those not the season numbers?
He did that in
one
4
game.
quarters.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
How the heck do you get 18 catches for 275 in one game?
Sweet talk the quarterback. That's the key. Sweet talk the quarterback.
Did you buy him dinner before the game or
Yeah.
something?
No kidding.
No, he felt like throwing me the ball that night, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just had to make things happen, but
Soft coverage that night?
I guess so. Yeah, it was a good night for me.
Now, is that one of those things where when you do that your first game of the year, you start to in your mind think, I can do this every game now? And were you expecting big numbers? Or
I was more nervous after having that. I was like, oh no, I can only go downhill from here.
I set the bar a little too high in that case.
Yeah, but I ended out pretty well this season. Ended season, I think, 6th in the state for yards. And
Not bad. All purpose?
yeah,
Nice.
so.
Now, did Chaudron State, were you already on their radar before that 18 catch game, or is that kind of what put you on there?
Max Gray helped me a little bit. He just put my name out there, and then
I forget he's there too.
yeah,
Okay.
they started looking at me, and they really liked how I played, so they got hold of me.
And so is that the same Chaudron State put on the map by Danny Woodhead?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I knew
Look
that
at
name.
you.
Yeah.
Pulling
Yeah.
that one out. Okay, Danny Woodhead, who's I think still in the NFL, right? Is he
Yeah,
still playing?
Chargers, I believe.
Chargers?
Yep.
I didn't realize he was a Chaudron State guy.
Yep. He's an Eagle.
So
But-
you were gonna go from an eagle to eagle.
Yeah,
Now you might
stay-
go.
Exactly. Yep. Eagle from Eagle.
Well, the nice thing about basketball, you got a lot of options around here. There's certainly
Exactly. That's another thing. There's no options for football
Mm-hmm.
really. You got University of Washington and Central.
Yeah, that's pretty much it these days. Well, I mean, basketball, you have so many community college options.
Yeah,
which,
exactly.
by the way, is great basketball.
Yeah,
Is
the
that
Yes, it's great basketball. There's great players for basketball in all different levels.
should mention that was Kendall Fields who was out on the play. It's going to bring up Chandler Bishop. If we keep you on here long enough, your girlfriend might be at the plate. You can give us a breakdown as to what she's up to or how she's doing.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Just remember, she might watch this later, so anything you say, she might use it against you. And
All right.
might want to know what the heck you were talking about earlier. So do you get a chance to watch quite a few of these softball games? Bishop hits that
struck
one
well.
Ooh.
just foul down the left field line. Do you get a chance to watch the Eagles quite a bit then?
Yeah, I try to make as many games as possible. It's busy with track, but right now I got a little break, so.
And so you figured you'd get off practice early today and just head over to Mountlake Terrace, huh?
Yup.
How's the track season going? Were you at the Nike Invitational then last week? Or?
No, I got a second-degree tear in my hamstring, so
Yikes.
I've been in one meet this year,
Ouch.
so holding me off for league right now.
So what's the prognosis? Are you feeling like you can get back? Or?
Yeah, I'm practicing again. Right now
Okay.
I'm practicing. I'm in league right now, so we'll just wait till districts and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And track team overall looking pretty good. I know Mr. Beamer,
Oh, Beamer. Kid can run.
Nathan Beamer can get after it a little. Now did he win a state? He did win a state championship last year, if I remember right. Did he not?
I'm not sure if
But-
he won last year, but
Put you on the spot there, didn't I?
yeah. Hopefully he doesn't see that. But I hope he wins this year. He's a heck of an athlete.
So who are some of the Eagles to watch for on the track besides Beamer and yourself?
We got Cordell Cummings, 110 hurdles. We have Riley Nelson, another long jumper with me. What girls? Sydney Trinidad. She's one of the girls that look out for. Danielle Baker. Those are 100 girls.
Ball's lined up the middle, base hit. Bishop's going to end up on first base.
That was a great hit.
It's going to put Crane up to the plate, who's batting in the cleanup position. Tell us a little bit about Alyssa Crane. What have you seen from her this year?
She's a solid player. She's one of those players not up or down. She's just solid. Like Brown says, just that solid player that just kinda keeps you guys in the game.
Yeah, you need those on the in any sport really for that matter.
Yeah, exactly.
So if she can avoid a double play, which we hope she does, there we're going to get to see your girlfriend come up to the plate in a minute.
All right.
Again, this will be recorded for all of time, so just make sure whatever you say, we don't want to get you in trouble there.
No.
I got to mention Jayla Russ, too, if I don't mention her.
Oh,
I'm sure her mom will let me hear about it. So
I can't believe I forgot about Jayla. She's going to let me hear about this now.
she's doing okay on the track.
Of course, yeah. Jayla, she can throw.
Now, throwing competition between you and Jayla, who wins?
Ooh. Wait, are we all going? Are we going girls' weight here?
Yeah.
Do I get to throw girls' weight?
Sure, why not? Can you out-throw her?
Yeah, girls' weight. We put me in boys' weight. She might get me.
Toss it.
No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we got Liv Larson. She's a good jab thrower.
That's right. Yeah, another basketball player.
Yep.
Up. Ruiz makes the catch, 2 away. And Donnie, who does that bring up to the plate here? Who's this number 3?
Paige Dickinson.
Paige Dickinson coming to the plate.
Yep, we'll see what she can do.
Give me a report here on Paige.
A scouting report
Give
on
me
her?
the scouting report. What's this righty look like here?
She likes to hit pretty well usually.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
Got to be able to do that.
Let's see what she can do right here.
In the dirt, ball 1. She's got a good eye anyway.
Yeah, she hates to get walked though.
Oh, she does? Okay.
She hates to get walked.
Don't say that too loud. They might realize that. Just start throwing her junk and get her to swing at it.
No, she likes to hit the ball.
Let's see what she can do on this next pitch. Right down the middle, 1-1. It has to be a fun year to be an Eagle, just in general. You guys had a nice football season. You got to the district championship game. I know it was a little bit of a rough one for you against GP, but
yeah.
And I know the Bonnie Lake game was even worse, but swung on a miss, strike 2. But I mean, basketball team, a little bit up and down this year. It wasn't probably the year you guys won. You came closer than I thought in that game against Stanwood, though. You almost got out of districts.
I got four fouls quick. That was rough for me.
Kind of put you in the hole a little bit there, huh?
Yeah.
The ball's fouled off.
Yeah.
Off the foot there.
That's not gonna feel good later.
No. Now, how supportive were you guys from the standpoint of watching those girls get to the state championship game? I'm sure there's always a little bit of bragging rights on the line, but at the same time, you got to support each other.
Oh, for sure. We're always there for them. I know a bunch of us stayed down in a hotel that weekend and just at all their games, and even their 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock games, we were there. But how to be supportive, but there's always that thing in the back of your head.
Wishing you were there, huh?
Yeah. And they've been there 4 years, so that's hard.
So someone that goes to school there, was there kind of an energy around the school that, this was kind of the year that they were destined to make a pretty long run, or was it just kind of unexpected to some extent?
It was kind of expected.
It was
expected, and when they made it, school went crazy again.
Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt you here, but your girlfriend just struck out, so sorry. But I did manage to put a nice swing on it. I almost got to first, but she is out, so we are done with the top of the 5th. It's still 4-1. We're going to keep it here. We're having fun talking to you right now. So.
It's fun being on the air right now.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Tacoma Dome, it was a good experience. I mean, certainly the girls had to have a good time getting to this championship game. I don't think we were expecting it, but it was I knew they had a good shot going in to actually get there.
Good draw and everything, too, when they're down there.
Mm-hmm. And very good crowds for the 3A championship game there.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a nice point, too, because, I mean, really, Arlington's one of those places where it's very community-based, and when things are going well, or even if they're not going well for that matter, everybody turns out for you guys, right? It's not just family, it's community, it's neighbors, it's the folks down the street, it's anybody.
It's kind of the essence of high school athletics, on football, Friday night lights, and basketball, Friday night packed gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to see.
That's one thing about Arlington is everyone's there watching you, and Friday nights, crazy. Friday night basketball games, crazy.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the thing I've noticed, too, a lot of times when you go to those games, a lot of alums back in the crowd supporting you guys. And
we would have a lot of alumni come back, especially for basketball. Everyone's coming back in the gym, spring break or winter break and stuff. We have Terry Don in there playing with us, Noah, everyone.
Yeah, I've seen the Letterman jackets don on the sidelines at Arlington football games on Friday nights for sure, in the elements.
Terry had a nice career there. He didn't do too badly, right?
No.
He's was he starting at Central this year? Did I see that right? Or
I'm pretty sure he started most games this year. He had a good season.
Abby Calhoun up at the plate. She's 1 for 2 on the day. Flew out to the outfield back in the first inning. Got a single back in the third. Later came around to score. 4-1 here, bottom of the 5th inning.
This game's really passing us by with all the guests coming in today.
This
Getting
week,
to the latter stages of the game.
This is fun, and a lot
Yeah,
of surprises
this is
too. We knew Sky was probably going to be here today, but Donnie just showed up out of the blue. This is good stuff. So, like I said, mid-season for you guys. I didn't realize that the tear had taken place, so I guess you're not able to really run right now. So it's
No.
good able to get you out here.
But I'll get back and running. Gotta get back in shape.
Yeah, how is that for you? Because really, once you come back, you almost immediately. Districts are right around the corner at this point.
Yeah. Well, I'm lucky to be able to just run 100 meters, so it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just jump, so.
So you're not worried about the stamina anyway. It would be a little
No.
tougher if you were a distance runner, but.
Yeah, I keep that to Nate. I don't want to challenge him at all.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, again, he's very very much in contention to win state. Probably
Yeah.
favored at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Always fun to see the Eagles doing well in various sports.
You'll-
Ball rolls up to the plate.
It's definitely one of the nice things about track is where you can, as long as you're healthy in that last race that gets you to the next
Yeah,
round, you're
exactly.
good. But if you get hurt early in a
Good
team
point.
sport, it can affect your entire
Exactly.
season. You're worried about your record, even just getting to the playoffs.
No, very true.
We had that with basketball this year.
Absolutely.
We had Tyler Morton going out.
That's right. He went out before the season started, correct?
Yeah.
That's
And he came back. I'm still shocked how early he came back.
that was broken leg. Am I right on that one, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Broke his leg completely.
How's he healing up? Doing okay?
He's doing good.
Ball's lined right past the shortstop.
Talk.
Calhoun's a base hit. He's now 2 for 3 on the day.
I talked to him today at lunch, and he's going to Wenatchee next year. So he'll play basketball.
Very good. Okay.
So that's good.
So you guys got people all over the state right now then.
Yeah.
Wenatchee, you got, like I said, Terry over at Central. Well, where's Noah going? Do we know yet? I know he's even
No.
he's done with Everett.
No,
right?
yeah, he just finished his last year at Everett. So I heard last I talked to him was a few days ago, and he said he might coach there.
Oh,
So
really?
I might help him coach
Okay.
and finish out another year at Everett.
I know he had a couple of big games this year. Noah Jones, who
Yeah.
played on that team that went to the state tournament in 2013.
Yep.
Time flies.
Yeah, it does.
Doan hits that one into the outfield between the left field and center. It's going to roll all the way to the fence. Calhoun thought about circling third there. He gets held up by the coach, Shannon Rasmussen. So give Doan a stand-up double. Runners at second and third. Going to bring up Jazz Zink.
Good decision on the part of the third base coach right there. Looked like it would have been an out.
Yeah, you've got nobody out so far in the inning. You've got a hitter who's having I was going to say a big game. She's having a big season.
Right.
Jazz Zink, who's had a double and a single already. You might as well not get thrown out at home plate knowing that she's coming up. Any baseball growing up, or did you?
I played baseball when I was younger.
Did you?
I wish I would have played a little bit in high school, but AAU takes over a lot of your life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is no joke right there.
Driving to Seattle every other day is not fun.
Is that where you played most of your AAU ball?
Yeah, I played in Tacoma and South Seattle. And it was
from Arlington.
it was it was brutal. And living in Oak Harbor was even worse.
1-1 count. Here comes the pitch to Zink. Strike called, a high strike, 1-2. Yeah, so you can't really complain. The trip to Mountlake is an easy one for you.
Oh, yeah, this is nothing.
Yeah. Take this any day of the week.
Yep.
See what Bishop fires here on the next pitch. 1-2 count. Grounded over to third base. Skipping on Crane, gets away from her, goes into the outfield. 2 runs are going to come in. Zink's going to end up on. That was a pretty hard hit too. I think Steve, I'll let you make the call. Is that a true double, or are we calling an error on that play?
I think we're going to call an error on that
We'll
one,
give
but
an
we'll
error,
give her
okay.
a base hit.
And we'll give her the single and an RBI, then 1 RBI out of 2.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. So an RBI with an error. Donnie, you're an Arlington guy, so you don't get a vote on that one.
Only unbiased parties get to make the call.
5-1 is our score. Zanka all 3 times at the plate now. She has hit a runner in. Give her a lot of credit there. 5-1 is our score here, bottom of the 5th.
Oh,
That ball's laced into left center field. That's going to go all the way to the fence. Zank comes in to score. Fitzgerald standing up over on second base. I think I just read that score wrong a minute ago. I said it was 5-1. It was 6-1, and now it's 7-1.
That one can be a double.
That was there's no question.
That's a true double.
That
right
we
there.
will let you make that call.
All
there.
right.
That was a RBI double there for Fitzgerald, and suddenly the Hawks getting a little cushion, 7-1 lead. Sammy Ruiz to the plate. Donnie, you think you had a pretty good game earlier this season? This is what Sammy did against Kamiak about 3 weeks ago when we were broadcasting. She had a game in which she hit 3 home runs, had a double also, 5 RBI. She came in the 6th inning and pitched a in the 6th inning of that game.
Jeez. That's about
That's
350 yards on the football field.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to compare the. But hey, you both had, and she was also the WIAA Athlete of the Week. Did you get Athlete of the Week for that game, by the way? Which I think you should have, but maybe not.
I don't know.
Oh, you would know.
Yeah.
You would have had an award for it. You should have. We'll just say it right now. We'll
All right.
we'll vote you in for
The honorary recipient of the award.
I'm sure we probably mentioned you on KJR that night at some point. But
Yeah. I remember Brown talking about me on the radio that night.
Was Coach Brown on the radio that night?
Yeah. 'Cause I remember coming to school next day. Did you hear me on the radio?
Really?
No, Brown, I didn't hear you. I'll go listen to it.
So the basketball coach talking you up on after a football game. We like that.
Yeah.
Well, I won't mention the other station. I guess can I mention the other station I'm on
Sure
Thursday
can.
nights during the football
It's
season?
your show.
We we did mention you on KRKO that week and talked about you podcast as well. So I know that was a big deal. We don't see 18 catches for 275 and 4 touchdowns very often.
Yeah, I broke 4 records I think that night. 4 or 3.
Not a bad evening.
Yeah.
Not a bad Friday right there.
Terry was a little sad, I think.
Sammy Ruiz
Ooh, struck. Wow.
hits that one into left field.
Oh, good catch.
Caught off the bounce.
Oh.
Initially there, that had the bar of the fence in my way. I thought she
Right.
might have even caught it.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like from here.
Little scoop there.
Callie Klein came in quickly on that one, kept it in front of her. So nice job there as Ruiz gets another hit.
I see Payne Brown's out here tonight.
Yeah, I didn't realize she was playing varsity softball until we got here today.
Tonight's her first night on varsity field.
It is. I didn't. Okay, did not
Yeah.
know that.
So
Peyton, the daughter of your head coach on basketball, is
yep.
nice job on the play as Ruiz goes down to second base. That was almost a catcher to pitcher to second base throw out there.
Yeah.
In the cutter.
The
Hit the
rare,
cutter, yeah.
the rare 2-1-4.
Exactly. You don't see that hardly ever, and almost took place there as Sammy does steal the base.
We can't really call that catcher's indifference because she was fairly, committed to making a bit of a play there.
Yeah. I don't know if they. Nobody really seemed quite sure what was going on there. I think Sammy was even confused a little. She looked like she almost pulled up. So Miller 0 for 2 on the day. Low and inside. Ball 2, 2-2. So Donnie, we're still trying to figure out where you're going to school next year. Any idea what you're going to study, or?
I'm not sure yet. I was thinking about criminal justice, but kind of going off that now.
You got some time. Get those
Yeah,
the generals out of the way first.
exactly.
Their swings and misses. It's going to be 2 away. That will bring up Amaya Kopp. Kopp has grounded out twice today, once to second base, the other time to shortstop. 3 runs in here in the bottom of the 5th, 2 runners on. Hawks with a 7-1 lead. Ball bounces, gets away from McKay. And in coming to score, sliding, is Ashley Fitzgerald. 4th run of the inning for the Hawks, makes it 8-1.
McKay couldn't quite locate it there and allowed the runner to score without much question there.
They're going to have a little conference here at the mound as they want to settle things down just a bit, and rightfully so. 4 runs in here already with a runner over on third base. So, Donnie, what else is going on at Arlington these days? You guys have about, 6-7 weeks left of school? Are you getting excited to get it over with, or are you going to miss it? Or
Mixed feelings about that. I'm
Yeah?
excited to get out of it, but once I'm out, I'm going to be sad.
Sure.
I'm going to miss high school sports for sure. That'll be a sad moment.
Definitely a highlight for many people when they look back at their high school years is the athletics.
Yeah.
I never understand, and I see, again, and Steve, you're probably the same way a little bit. You and I both covering high school sports the way we do. We follow things on social media, and Twitter's a big one for us, and
Definitely.
I always see people wishing away their senior year of high school, and I never understand it because
Yeah.
to me that was a fun year, and I never wanted it to end back in the
Absolutely.
day.
Yeah, I love my senior year. I'm having a great senior year.
Just like to tell people, you know, the real world, it's still going to be there later on.
Yeah.
Enjoy it while you can, you know.
Exactly.
Or enjoying that having to be in it while you can, right?
In a lot of the interviews I've done with former players, I ask them, you know, what's one thing that they would tell current high school athletes and students, and they always say just enjoy the time that you have because
Yeah.
it goes by super
Mhm.
quick. So
It feels like I just transferred last year.
Ball's hit over to second base.
ooh,
Orozco comes home with it on the play,
Interesting.
coming in to score. That was Sammy Ruiz. That makes it a 9-1 game. I'm not sure I agree with that decision. And
That's a tough one. You got to get the easy out right there.
Ruiz was fortunate there because not necessarily the smart play to go home on a ball like that, but it worked out for her.
yeah, indeed. She probably knew that she had a nice jump on it anyway. And from second base, it's a hard throw to make to the mound. Or
She's
I should say over to the plate, yeah.
Shaded pretty deep there at second too.
Mm-hmm.
When it was a long throw.
This is going to bring up Alyssa Susi. Hopped out to in foul territory to first base back in the second inning, then struck out in the fourth. Hawks with a 9-1 lead right now. 2 more runs, and they make this a 10-run deficit, which would end it early here in the fifth. Should get that 10-run lead past the fifth inning. It would call a game and would not require the last 2 innings to be played. Call ball on the plate, throwing the ball over to first base and just getting back. So Maya Kopp, the bench down there for Mountlake Terrace, get a little excited right now. I think they're enjoying themselves. You can hear that going through the microphones right now. Strike called. 1-2. We keep looking overhead here. I don't think we're going to get any rain. Fingers crossed.
Let's hope not.
Those clouds are looking a little dark. There are more and more of them. As we were told they might come in at some point. I think tomorrow is more of the projected rainstorm, but
Ooh.
you never
Let's
know.
just keep the nice weather going.
Yeah.
It looked like Susie struck out on that play. 2 away, and that will bring up Kennedy Cooper. Outside ball 1. Kennedy, a part of the broadcast program at Mountlake Terrace. We notice every time she comes up, Angela Camo, her teacher, gets a little excited and cheers for her, the freshman. Doing good things on. She says we'll talk about this in class tomorrow morning. She fouls that one off. Only a freshman.
Is this a young Mountlake Terrace team?
It is a fairly young team, you know, and it's, as we look at the roster, as a matter of fact, very young. 2 seniors on the entire team,
Wow.
and a team that's poised to do some great things the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Sophomores, freshmen, juniors. A team that's, with only 2 seniors on the team, already 8-2 on the season, and it looks, I'm sorry, Donnie, it looks as though they're going to go 9-2 on the years. I think Arlington might be in a little trouble here. And, this is a very successful
Yeah.
young
it
squad that's
looks
only
like
going to get
it.
better.
At this point, Arlington just looking to avoid that 10-run rule, like you say. I mean, they've been the
Yeah.
fortunate recipient of a lot of those contests this season, so hopefully they can just finish out the game, the full 7, and move on to the next one.
Yeah, and do we have the schedule? I know we had the Arlington schedule in here somewhere. I'm looking at their next game too.
They'll take on Edmonds Woodway next.
So they have a few days off in between the next games. Cooper lines that one into center field.
Ooh.
Everybody's cheering on that play, sliding into second base and making it is
Close play.
Amaya. Looking at Cooper's stats for the season. Do you have those in front of you by any chance, Steve? Here we go. Cooper hitting her, I guess it was her 5th base hit of the year, so good job by the freshman. Takes us right back to the top of the lineup where Gabby Calhoun's coming up.
Batting around for this big inning.
Yeah, this is Gabby's 2nd time up in the inning, and Gabby is somebody who can hit the ball over the fence. So if she were to do that right now, it would make it an 11-run game. Could end it right here. Well, Donnie, hopefully it's not too long of a car ride home for these ladies after. I guess when you play a long schedule, though, you kind of know there's ups and downs in it.
Yep, for sure.
Calhoun lines that one into center, coming in to make the catch is Fields. That is the 3rd out, but the Hawks do get here in the 5th. Makes it a 9-1 game. Johnny, you want to stick around for another inning with us?
Yeah, no.
There we go. Getting you some experience here and having,
Yeah.
having you join us. It's going into the 6th inning of play. We will take a quick break. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And here we go into the top of the 6th inning. 0-0 at the plate for the first time. And who is this?
Carly Coker, sophomore.
Carly Coker getting her first at bat. I like the 0-0 uniform, by the way. I don't think I've ever seen that in high school.
Yeah, that's definitely different.
Looks like a recent addition to the roster. The only one in lowercase letters up here.
Oh, yeah, on the roster sheet we got off Westco Athletics. Yeah. So Carly Coker getting the at-bat. So number 0 on the sheet, number 0.
Yeah, it's 0-0. 0-0.
Yeah, there's a big difference. Coker fouling that one off over the fence. Were you much of a preference in terms of your jersey numbers, or did you just usually take what Coach gave you? What were your thoughts?
I took some big numbers when I moved.
Did you?
I took some big numbers.
Looks like you got number 4 here. Was that one you kind of settled on later on?
Yeah, I got number 4 when I moved, and then I took number 1 for football.
Just kind of bounce around?
Yeah. I was ready for a change.
A lot of I know back in high school when we played, coaches were always a little bit leery to, nice hit by Coker.
Yeah.
Hits that one into the outfield, fading back on it, going back. Goes up against the fence. Coker's going to walk into second base with a stand-up double. She came a few feet away from hitting that one over the fence.
That was a good hit.
Where's Carly Coker been all day? Should have put her in earlier.
Oh,
now she's going to go to third base, and she's going to end up scoring on the play as the throw gets away. Carly Coker, 1 at bat, 1 run. Well, that was fun.
She kind of came out of nowhere from second.
That's they may not get the victory today, but I think Carly Coker's going to be talking about this one for a while. It's going to bring up Izzy Kim for her 3rd at bat. She popped out to second back in the 2nd inning and singled in the 4th.
Kind of an unusual sequence of events there. They had the ball in the infield and just kind of throwing it around a little bit. Next thing you know, it's behind the third baseman, and Coker's running home.
I looked away momentarily. All of a sudden, I look, and why is the ball going to third base? Oh, I guess she's going there as well, and then she's coming in. So it's Coker gets a double, and she ends up scoring on the error. Just what Arlington needed right now. Perhaps a rally starter. It's 9-2. They're going to need a little bit more, but Kim takes the strike. Well, we've seen, from looking at some of the scores, Arlington has put up double digits on more than one occasion this year.
Yes.
Kim fouls that one over the fence into the bushes, where Angelo Como will go and try to retrieve it. Or no, he said no, so apparently not.
So those are all lost balls.
We were talking about this earlier. They actually do go and retrieve them later on. Sometimes during the game, sometimes after. But they generally tend to be kind of in the same vicinity, but it does require a little hedge work, as you need to take your clippers over there and weed whack a little bit on the way into the bush. They do get those balls. They're $6 a ball. So
Yeah, you can't lose that.
at some point, you can't let every one of them go, right? 1-2 count to Kim. She hits that one nicely into right field. Going
Good
back on
hit.
it. Nice job by Kim. Try to make the play. Cooper gets the ball back into the field of play fairly quickly for the single. And Kim, for the second time today, gets a single.
You just got to chip away at this point.
You never say never, right? And we've all seen enough baseball games in our time or softball games to know that no lead is ever safe. That's the beauty of baseball, softball, right?
Absolutely. Getting that first base runner on, or in this case, around the bases, kind of get stuff started. And next thing you know, you got some ducks in the pond, and
Yeah.
we'll see what happens here if they can chip away at that lead.
Well, the beauty of this sport is that there's no time limit, so you can never look at it and say, okay, we're down by 7 with 10 seconds to go.
Yeah.
The clock is always your friend.
Exactly. Orozco up for her third at bat. She's 0 for 2 on the day. Struck out back in the second. Grounded out to third back in the fourth. Arlington squad over in the dugout now starting to come to life. We're hearing a lot of chanting going on and cheering.
Yep.
Kira Doan still firing, swinging and missing, and she's going to fire on down to first base. They may, in fact, have Kim in a pickle right now. Fitzgerald with the ball. Nobody's there covering second. Did they get her? They finally get her as Calhoun catches the throw from Fitzgerald and makes the tag. Kim left hung out to dry. She is out.
Kim was caught in no man's land there.
Yeah.
Took a little bit of a secondary lead there after the pitch, and was able to be right stuck in the middle there.
Give Zank a lot of credit on that play for firing that ball down to first and getting her hung out.
Looked as if she might have been able to make it down to second base there. Terrace really wasn't on the pursuit there.
Yeah, I noticed that as soon as Fitzgerald caught that first throw, she was kind of looking over like, who am I throwing to now?
Yeah.
Ball is fouled off.
Oh,
Donnie
heads
not
up.
going to catch it. Wow, it's about as close as we ever get to the balls there. That one ricocheted off the fence and then came over towards us. Unlike Mr. Dion here, who caught a I keep saying you caught, but you got a
Didn't catch
Robinson
it.
Cano home last week.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You don't get to keep these balls, unfortunately. So
You know, it's rare to get a baseball from a future Hall of Famer.
swung on and missed. Jager up for her third time. She's 0 for 2 on the day. That's another thing right there. We talked about it. Our last broadcast was 8 days ago, a baseball game over on the baseball field behind us. And again, you were at the Mariner game that day, grabbing a Robinson Cano home run, and then he hit a 3-run homer to win it today.
Yeah, how
Maybe
about
there's
that?
something about us broadcasting and Robbie Cano hitting home runs.
We need to do a few more of these Sound Live Sports broadcasts. Maybe just every
games.
West Coast game.
Break some records of some sort and see if Cano can keep hitting those, just like Sammy Ruiz does every time we broadcast here. She seems to hit home runs as well. So Jager is down on strikes. We are through 5.5 innings of play. They did get 1 run there, so it is 9-2 now. Hawks lead. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network.
yeah, I played against that Terrace team.
No, softball.
Oh, softball.
Yeah.
So,
Basketball.
basketball.
Yeah.
I'm always in basketball mode.
And here we go into the bottom of the 6th inning. Steve with Steve Dion and Donnie Selgren joining us from Arlington High School. Kira Doan getting another at bat. She's been on base all 3 times today. She's walked, she's singled, she's doubled. And this time she lines out. Nice job by second baseman over there.
That was a good hit.
Orozco.
He's got robbed right there.
That will bring up Jazz Zink. Jazz with a handful of RBIs today. She's doubled once, singled twice. Got her down for 3 RBI, 2 runs scored. Only a sophomore. She's also done a nice job behind the plate today. We saw her fire that ball down to first in the top half of the inning to get Izzy Kim in a rundown. Hits that one foul, 1-1. So Steve, first softball game for you. Any observations so far? In general?
No, you know, a lot of offense in this game for sure. It was good to see a home run, but good defense as well. I mean, there's been, you know, throwing down first base, you know, a lot of nice outfield assists and stuff like that. So definitely an exciting matchup. You know, Westco definitely offers some quality softball. So it seems like you guys have a good slate of games, and each week you have some great games to broadcast.
No, it's certainly, we're not in a shortage for here. That's
Not at all.
That goes without saying. A lot of great teams out here. We mentioned earlier, Meadowdale and Everett both finishing 2nd and 3rd in state last year. Donnie, you're, I guess you weren't, I was going to say your freshman year, but you were still at Oak Harbor at the time. But
Yeah.
Arlington winning a state title back in 2013.
Yep. Almost got there the next year. Close.
Now hopping down to 3A just 2 years ago, or I guess this is the 2nd year of them
Yeah.
being a 3A school after being at 4A for a while.
Yep.
Something I'm sure you can attest to covering high school sports.
Zink hits that one into center field where she's out.
Trying to keep track of all the reclassification. It seems like year after year
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of that going on in the SPS, especially with the new league alignment and stuff. So, you know, you start talking about years past, and were they 4A, 3A? It's
Yeah.
hard to remember.
Well, you know, and starting next year, they're going to a 4-year cycle, too. They're no longer doing every other year, so that'll be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Well, as a matter of fact, the team we're covering here, Mountlake Terrace, going down to 2A next year.
Oh, really?
Ball is lined into left field. Yeah, they're basically, and Donnie, you know this because you play in multiple sports in Wesco, but right now Shorecrest is a 2A that plays at the 3A, and Mountlake Terrace is 3A. They're going to flip-flop next year, so both teams will still stay right where they're at in terms of being in the same conference and in the same division. Only Shorecrest will now be a 3A school, and Mountlake Terrace will be a 2A, so they'll basically carry most of those records over into the 2A district playoffs, which will be a little interesting. I know you've got different people on different sides of the argument as to if that's a good thing or a bad thing or not. It certainly makes things a little easier in terms of playoffs.
Yeah.
We saw that with Shorecrest this year, quite frankly, in basketball, both boys and girls.
Yeah, Shorecrest had a great season this year.
Wow, nice catch.
Nice
wow.
catch
Alyssa Crane, and 2 great catches in that inning, one by Crane, one by Orozco.
That was a great catch.
Hawks get held off the board, and we are going to go to the top of the 7th inning. It's do or die time for the Eagles. We'll keep it right here since we might only have 3 more outs left. I certainly appreciate both of you guys jumping on with us today. Steve, we knew this was going to come one of these days where we'd get you in here, and I'm happy to have you on board, and thank you very much for doing it.
Nothing weird this week, you know, just a regular day, not at the park.
No Mariner home games for you to attend. You're here with us.
Yeah.
I've been having so much fun with you guys. I wrote down some notes of things I wanted to talk about and didn't even get to a few of them. I gotta throw one of them in here really quick. Though we have an event coming up for Mountlake Terrace High School, and certainly if any of the parents are watching, they can maybe put this one on their calendar. And if the students are watching, they can let the parents know about it because this is a 21 or over event. But the annual 2016 grad night party is coming up at Mountlake Terrace High School. And every year, or somewhat of an annual event now, they have a party over at Big E's Ale House. Again, adults only, where They have a silent auction. They do 50-50 raffles, a fundraiser. All the money and all the proceeds go towards the senior grad night party. And for the third straight year, I'm fortunate enough to have been asked to MC the event. One of the highlights of the night, for me, I like emceeing the event, but the highlight of the night for most people, music by the Stray Dogs. Check Donnie, this, Steve, you as well. Stray Dogs, the guitarist of the band is Greg Schwab, who's the principal here at Mountlake Terrace High School. How many schools can claim that their principal not only plays in a rock band, but Greg Schwab is also a former NFL football player?
Wow.
It's
not
not too
many.
shabby.
Talented.
Yeah, he's a kind of a true Renaissance man. He's a principal. He's a rock and roll guy. He's an ex-football player.
Jeez, yeah.
So that event's coming up on May 7th. It's a Saturday night from 6 to 10 p.m. over at Big E's. People can get tickets either at the door for $20 or they can go online at squareup.com and purchase those tickets. Again, Saturday, May 7th, fun night, food, beverage, music, and all the proceeds going to help out senior night so that the Hawks seniors can have a fun, safe grad night party that night. You guys do a grad night for, are you guys having a senior party this year?
Yeah, we will after graduation that night.
And they never tell you, right? It's
Nope.
It was kind of a surprise.
Nope. We actually have prom this weekend.
Oh, you guys are doing prom already?
Yeah, early.
Wow, seems very early.
Seems extremely early, yeah. So where's prom at this year?
Safeco Field.
You guys are doing prom at
Wow.
Safeco Field?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's great.
So that'll be a good time.
The M's are out of town.
That's too bad. I think you'd almost rather do it when the M's are in town. Watch a game, dance a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, so where's the dancing going to take place? Is it going to be out on the field or
No.
home plate?
How cool would that be?
On that $1 million grass, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I
the
don't think they're going to let you touch that. But
Kentucky Blue is what it is.
by the way, Shine McKay getting her second hit of the game, so she's over on first base. Brings up Kendall Fields
Ooh,
Oh.
fire down to first.
just in time. So prom in April, but at Safeco. Well, I guess if you're going to do it at Safeco Field, I'm sure that books up pretty quickly. So I can imagine
Yeah.
they're doing that. Here comes the next pitch. I think I saw something similar. I occasionally go down for a company I work for and work Final Four events. And we were down in Arlington, Texas 2 years ago. This, when the
Okay.
Final Four was down there in 2014. I went to the semifinals of the Final Four, and we were at Arlington Field there where the Cowboys play.
Yeah.
We were walking back to our hotel afterwards. Ball's fouled off. So this would have been on a Saturday night in early April. We end up having to walk by the baseball stadium where the Texas Rangers play, and there's this huge dance going on in there, and we're thinking, what's going on? And a couple of the students came wandering out because it was 10:30, 11 o'clock at night or whatever, and sure enough, they were having their prom in there. And I looked at one of the adults there and said, why are you guys doing your prom so early? And they said, well, this place books up well in advance. You either do it now or you don't get to do it at all. Ball's lined into right field for a base hit. Almost hit McKay as Fields getting on for the third time today.
And so now, do you guys have a theme for your prom this year? Or is it?
I'm not sure about the theme.
Yeah. You got your suit picked out. You got a kind of a color scheme at least.
Yeah.
What is it? What are you going to be
give us-
donning that night?
Give us a little insight.
I'll go red. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
But she still doesn't know, so
Oh,
I can't say too
so
much
you're
on there.
choosing the colors.
She does now.
Okay.
No, she doesn't know what colors I'm wearing.
Oh, okay.
Ah, I see.
Oh, so she's wearing red. Is that what you
Yeah.
said? Paige is wearing
Yeah.
red. Okay.
One thing you see a lot in high school proms nowadays is the suit, but then kind of the athletic shoes. As a kind of an older gentleman, you got to go with the dress shoes, right? You can't go with the athletic shoes.
I like how he looks at me and says, as the older gentleman. Very nicely done. Wow, everybody moving up 60 feet on that plate. Yeah, that's
I don't want to sound like a curmudgeon here, but you got to have the dress shoes.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
you were calling yourself an older gentleman, which makes me
Well,
feel even older.
I'm,
Wow.
I'm feel a little
I was
sometimes.
kind of sad. I wanted to wear the Jordans, and Mom and Paige said no.
I
She
like
said
that.
she said dress shoes. I said
There you go.
Good for Mom for stepping in, by the way. That's you gotta.
You only get one prom. There's many of days to wear the J's.
I've never even thought of. I mean, back in our day, we wouldn't have even thought about wearing. I would have loved to have worn tennis shoes. Would have been comfortable.
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. I know style's always nice, but something
Yeah.
to be said for comfort.
Yeah.
So Chandler Bishop at the plate. 2 on, nobody out. It is 9-2 in the top of the 7th inning. Arlington looking to stage a rally to keep this game going. Ball's hit into center field. Coming in and making the catch. That's
Cut
Lauren
off.
Miller. Runner comes in to score. That was Shine McKay, makes it a 9-3 game, and on the play, heads on down to third base. A gutsy call there, Steve.
Definitely. It was a close one, but she was able to get into third. At this point in the game, you got to take some risks if you want to, you know, tie things up here in the latter stages of the game.
Pushes that run across. It's now 9-3. Melissa Crane up to the plate. She's been on base twice today. Singled back in the first, walked in the third. Grounds that one over to short.
Another run scores.
Ruiz fires it across the diamond, gets the out, but you're right. On the play, Fields does score. Makes it 9-4.
And if Arlington isn't able to quite surmount the deficit here, they're going to go out feeling pretty good going into the next game for sure. You know, that 9-2 definitely looks a lot worse than 9-4, 9-5, whatever they're able to accumulate here in the last few at bats.
Very good point. And Paige Dickinson up for the fourth time today. Up for the second. Boyfriend Donnie Selgren joined us on the broadcast. No pressure, Paige. You sure this isn't the time where you want to say what you're wearing to prom? You want to make that announcement right here on the air?
Ooh.
No, we won't make you do that. Go ahead.
I'm surprised to hear red, though. You know, Terrace colors.
I don't think that was taken into a consideration. Nice play over at third. Fire, and that is the way the game ends. My goodness,
Nice
Maya
defensive
Kopp.
play there.
The 5-3 put out. Hawks getting the victory. They run their record up to 9-2 overall, 7-2, or 9 and getting all my numbers mixed up there. I'll have Steve correct me there if we need to. There we go. Now we got them right. 9-3 overall, 7-3 in league play. Hawks getting the W. We're going to take a quick break. Hey, Donnie Selgren, thank you very much for coming by.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you doing this, and best of luck to you wherever you go. I think Chaudron State, their loss, and we hope to see you locally here playing basketball somewhere next year.
Thank you.
All right, we'll let you go ahead and take off and get back to things, and good luck for the rest of the way in track as well.
Thanks.
So, Steve, keep it right here for a moment. We're going to take a break here in just a second and do our player of the game interview. 9-4, nice victory for the Hawks today.
Absolutely, great game.
There we go. So, again, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we will wrap things up and do our player of the game. Final score, Hawks 9, Eagles 4. You're watching the Sound Alive Sports Network. And welcome back to the Sound Live Sports Network. The final score here from Mountlake Terrace: the Hawks 9, the Eagles 4. Jazz Zank 9-3 on the year so far, 7-3 conference. Nice season for you guys through 12 games.
Well, it's going good. A lot better than last year.
Yeah, now tough game against Everett, but Everett's always tough. You had to have a big bounce back game today. How did you feel about this game?
I felt really good. I knew from the get-go, first inning when we scored those 3 runs, it was going to be good.
Yeah, big inning for you. You had that nice double there, and then you took third on the play. Walk us through a couple of the hits. Had Bishop very well? Had you played against her before?
No, I've never played against her before. I mean, I don't remember if she pitched last year, but I was just looking for the high ball, and she threw it inside. So
you had a nice job today with the bat, but also behind the plate. That throw you threw down to first base late in the game with Izzy Kim over on first base. Talk me through that play a little bit. What did you see? Did you kind of know she was getting a lead off before the play?
yeah, I knew she likes to take a big lead usually, so I thought I could get her, and then
Now, for you, I think you led the team in innings pitched last year. This year, you've done nothing but catch. I know you've got 3 really solid pitchers on this team. Do you miss it at all? Or I know that part of the reason they don't have you pitching is because you're doing such a great job behind the plate. Are you content with that role? Are you feeling pretty good about it?
I used to catch a long time ago, and I kind of just gave it up. But I think that I like catching better than pitching, and I think that we need it more, so I'm willing to sacrifice that for the team.
Now, next week you got some big games coming up. I know Edmonds, Woodaway, Glacier Peak still on the schedule. Going into the second half of the season, now that you get to go through the South one more time, what are the thoughts from the other teammates as far as how you guys are feeling about the season and how this momentum, getting victories like this, are going to help?
We're feeling really good. We really want to beat Peak next time. We're coming for you.
They're coming for them, so they want a little revenge. So again, one game at a time. They get the win today. Marysville gets you tomorrow, and then we're going to broadcast the game on Tuesday, weather permitting, against Pilchuck. So Jazz Zank, congratulations.
Thank you.
And you get to keep this T-shirt also, so enjoy that. Go ahead and enjoy the victory with your teammates, and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So Jazz Zank, once again, our player of the game. We're going to invite Steve Dion back over here one more time. Steve's initial softball game, his first one to broadcast with us. And again, your first time seeing Mountlake Terrace. What were your thoughts?
It was a great team effort. You know, they had some great defensive plays. You know, that getting started off in the first inning with 3 runs was huge for them. It kind of set the tone for the game, and they were able to just keep adding on throughout the entire contest.
And we never really mentioned during the interview with Jazz just now, but Kira Doan, another great pitching performance for the Hawks. Seem to get those every time out, but nice job by Kira on the mound today.
Yeah, you got to like it when your pitcher can get you through the entire ball game without having to really have much, trouble there. And she was able to just knock down the batters and not really allow any big innings for Arlington in this one.
Indeed. So the Hawks come away with a 9-4 victory. Steve, we want to make sure we give you the proper shout out here. So how can folks follow you? Twitter account, I know, again, you help produce the KGR Mitch in the Morning show, so people can hear you in the background, and I know making comments off and on the radio on KGR 950, 6 to 10 in the morning on Monday through Friday, right?
Yeah, we actually get there at 5:30 for Dick Fane's live at 5:30. But yeah, Steve Dion, KJR, I chime in from time to time, so you can hear me on the radio waves as well as, I guess, now on Sound Live Sports Network.
There we go. So I guess I should ask you before we sign off, too, if people tune in tomorrow morning, should they think that maybe they'll hear a Mountlake Terrace Arlington softball mention, perhaps?
I'll see if I can, make a plug if time permits.
There we go. We won't hold him to it, but we won't complain if he gets there. So again, Steve, thank you very much for being on with us.
Thanks for having me.
Sounds like we might even see you next Tuesday for the Marysville Pilchuck game.
I'll see if I can make it up here.
There we go. So stay tuned for that. Once again, the Hawks getting the victory today, 9-4 over Arlington, 9-3 overall in the season, but more importantly, 7-3. Angelo, come on, give me a shout out with names. We got Sky Shank, Josh Liddell. I always forget Josh's first name. Josh Liddell helping us, huge help for us today on cameras. And Josh, thank you very much. Angelo Como, thank you for making this happen. Steve Dion, appreciate you.
Absolutely.
And once again, my name's Steve Willits. 9-4 is the final score. You've been watching the Sound Live Sports Network.